So yeah, hi. How you guys doing? As I just said, let me double check that these headphones are not connected to both my phone and the computer. Alright, cool. It doesn't appear to be, so we will not have phone ringing being completely unhelpful. Awesome. But yes, Friday, we are closely approaching to charity stream stuff next week, so that's gonna be a thing. I'm like internally like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? It hopefully should be fine. Again, I'm not doing anything big or fancy. Ignore me while I'm getting a stitch marker for this hat. I can use this one. It goes with it. It should fit. Also, I keep needing to spray over this thing. There's already chips in there. Oops. I'll eventually get to that. Anyhow. So yeah, not terribly much going on. I actually finally started to dust off this bookshelf behind me. I didn't get through the whole thing because it takes a while, so that's literally, I'd say about one. Wait, how many shelves are on this thing? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I believe 7. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Although some are smaller than the others, but I did 2 of them that involved me taking off a bunch of books and other stuff. So I might see about getting the upper 2 shelves because I didn't have a ton of stuff there, and doing that after stream, so I can just get through the bottom 3 tomorrow. I swear I'm not lazy, it's just that this shelf, getting all the books off, which I kind of do it in sections, take off some books, dust, put back, take off next session, put back on other section of books, and do it that way. So I'm not like taking everything off at once and putting everything back on at once. So it's a smaller process. I feel like I'm getting stuff done. But yeah, I literally took off one of the books and literal dust came off, and I was like, yeah, cool. Guess it's time for me to actually, take care of this thing. It usually doesn't get that dusty, that literal dust comes off on the books. I'm like, I have neglected you all. I'm so sorry. Ugh. I mean, yes, there are worse things, but yeah, usually not that bad. But yeah, so let's see, bookshelf, finishing packaging up stuff, which I'm not done with that. Still waiting for socks to dry so I can package that. So I'm suspecting it might be Monday once I ship that out. And then 1 or 2 other things. We'll see how that goes. Anyways, I'm just gonna jump right into this hat here, because again, nothing really pressing to talk about other than, the upcoming charity streams for next week. Caledon! Hi. I was just doing a bit short of a rundown. How are you doing? How goes? Hope all is good. So you haven't missed anything yet. Just wanted to give some people some time to come on in. So yeah, cat. Nothing too crazy going on here. Basically a bit of stockinette. But it's gonna be like 2 colors, so like the bottom half is this pink and then top half is a much brighter pink. A very more saturated pink in comparison. Oh, nice. It might be just extra stuff that they had post Black Friday, which that's really good. Also, are you replacing your GPU? Or is this for tinkering stuff and things? I've been playing beauty. Also, yay, not horrible frame rates. Because horrible frame rates suck. So definitely yay to not horrible frame rates while doing that. I have not done VR. That's mainly because the whole... I imagine that might make motion sickness a thing. Thankfully it's not a freaking affair unless, like, you know, the car, like, starts and stops too much. That's, like, pretty much the only time that happens for me. The new GPU installed in my current PC and running like a... Yay! I'm glad that's working out. Alright. Must have... Yeah. I think that's about where I stopped. Which, for anybody wondering, this is probably about right where I'd paused last stream. I hadn't had time to touch it, given, you know, was finishing up the Draw This in Your Style and also finishing up the socks, so I've been busy doing those two things. Oh, for... Why are we like this? Come on. Yeah, I might just tie this through. Also, I will be right back. My nose is starting to do the thing again, but given I dusted, I'm not surprised. Ugh. It's better. Boop-a-doo. Oh, also, let me close countdown timer, because we don't need that, and... Alright, cool. Yee. And adjust. There we go. Because I realized I was a bit out of frame. My bad. Okay, so the new GPU, was it, like, it really needed replacing, or were you, like, taking advantage of being able to get one in order to replace the one in your current PC? Also, I think I know that's why that is. Unless... No, yeah, it did get turned down. Then why does it feel so loud in my ears? Is the music loud for you guys, or is it just me? It feels loud. And I don't know why. I'm pretty sure this is on my normal settings for volume. Yeah, it might just be me, so I'll just turn it down. Ah! I do not keep up with the processor names. I mean, yes, I'm aware those are things that kind of need to get updated every so often to avoid going out of date and thus not being able to do the things like you should be able to do the things, but I am not, like, highly aware of the who's and the what's and the whys. Doo-doo. Are we just gonna do that? Wee. Oh, so I guess I can put my watch in Do Not Disturb. I don't need to listen for everything because everyone's here, so I shouldn't be expecting any stupid calls. I've not been doing that for a while, but that's mainly because at least every so often someone's been outside. Not that my phone's really picking up the calls anyway, so it feels kind of redundant. Alright, let's put this in here. There we go. Hopefully that's the correct spot. Not entirely sure, but I could be wrong. Also, do let me know if the music is too loud. Well, I don't think so, but Also, this feels... Oh, it might be because how low this is. Excuse me while I just a wee bit. Let this go a little bit higher. Okay, that's better. Felt a little too close. But yeah, honestly, the current thing really on the line is literally just the charity streams for next week. Other than that, also getting the stuff out in the mail. So it'll hopefully get there close enough to on time for Christmas, if possible. But I don't trust it to be on time at this point. Because this is definitely within the realms of being stuck somewhere for delays and so on and so forth. So we will see. Still pondering one or two goals, but I have pretty much stuff mostly set. I just honestly need to double check that, you know, my laptop can handle games. Well, certain games I know it can handle. I've streamed with this Sherlock Holmes. GeoGuessr should be fine. I just want to check if Hades and Ori and the Blind Forest can handle me streaming it from this laptop. Which I argue it should, but, yeah. Just want to make sure that I'm not promising something my laptop cannot handle. Because especially Ori and the Blind Forest is a bit beefy of a game. Because, like, it's a couple gigs to download it. I was just like, oh, that might be an issue. Uh-oh. But we'll see. Which, at worst, if they do have something to turn down the resolution, I know Hades, it does not have a thing to turn down the resolution, which is kind of irksome, but eh. There are worse things? See if I remember to do that after stream. If not, probably tomorrow. But yeah, it's also kind of why I'm trying to keep things extra in the chill before then. I suspect some bits of hype here. Also, anybody potentially lurking, wondering what the heck I am muttering about here, I am planning to do a series of games next week for charity fundraising for Project Linus in order to help small humans get things like blankets in these very cold and unfun times that we have here, which I imagine given the past about 2 years, it's definitely something that they're definitely more in need of. So I hope to do a bit of good with that, and then do some fun random things, nothing too crazy. So I'm probably gonna have to do a couple of changes on these scenes here and there. Although, given it's gonna be games only, it will not be that much in the way of changes. But we will see. But yes, if you can't afford to potentially give any funds for next week's charity streams, you could potentially send in supplies to make blankets, like yarn, quilting, quilt batting, stuff like that, because I believe quilts are also part of this. So it's definitely an available option too. I think it's like a couple more rounds and then I'll probably switch to the pink. The darker pink, rather. Which I do hope I have enough of that, because that's gonna be quite a pain if I don't have more of that. Although I'll definitely need to check in the basket. See whether or not that's the case. But other than this hat, honestly pondering future projects and stuff, which I am thinking of making a cowl, because I'd done this a couple years ago as a prize thing, because I had a Karen cupcake, which it's for making a hat, and I was just like, I made a cowl instead, which I didn't realize the thing striped, and it came out real prettily. I forget if I still have the pom-pom that goes with it. I might, somewhere in here. Who knows? But yeah, it worked out really well. So I'm thinking of using some of my hand spun, the BFL that I spun, which is just out of frame, or else I would show you right now. So I'm thinking of doing that and using some of the same plastic beads that I had from there, because I still have a ton of those. You can use that in there. Put beads on the leaves. Because the way they make the leaves is, I believe some yarn overs and knit two togethers. So, given I spun the yarn to be striping, it should be pretty fun of a project. We'll see how long the yarn lasts. I'm thinking, if not that, might use the acrylic yarn that I spun. It's equally as soft. But I kind of want to use the acrylic for something else, but I still have to spin the other braids of the acrylic. I have 3 more of those to go. But again, those are likely gonna be next year's stuff and things. Which, actually, yeah, I could reach it before, but I can reach it. I'm discussing this. Jane Wayne had given me this, I believe, yeah. It's not birthday, it was Christmas last year. Oh, yeah. Yeah, but it's not that bright, but it's definitely jewel tones. Yeah, that's better. Because it's darker down here at the moment. But still bright enough, because there's a bit of sun coming through, which is why I don't have a lamp on. But yeah, there's a bit of this. I believe this is like 270 something yards. So I'm curious to see how this works. I really do have fun spinning this. And then of course, how the, why are we like this? How do you manage to get in there? Okay, yeah, I might need to, yeah. That's better. I must have not done a good job when I was winding this. This is the acrylic yarn. It's a whole bunch of colors in there. It's kind of crazy, and it's like, I have a feeling with the little leaf detail on the bottom, it probably wouldn't show as well, given it's not solid. Plus, this is actually thinner. This is probably definitely close to about my usual sock weight spinning, so I'm like pretty sure that's gonna have to be relegated to something else, but we'll see. I have a few things I hand spun. Still have the silk. I haven't gotten to spinning that. Might do a little bit of spinning later. Before it gets dark, if I get the chance. Since, you know, when I end, it's gonna start becoming dark, so yeah. Not high likelihood of a chance of that, but not impossible. Okay, why are we like this? I need to poke at that area later. But yeah, I know it's not 2022 yet, but I just want to have an idea of what I'm going to do project-wise. I mean, other than the projects I still want to finish. Stares at the sweater, stares at the shawl, although given I have like stuff to go out the door, I might start working on that again. I just need to figure out where the heck am I. In regards to the chart. I know I'm in section 3, I definitely wasn't in that very long, so if I get lucky and work on it every so often, I might be able to see about finishing that in the next 3 weeks left of this year, which is kind of insane. We have 3 weeks left of this entire year, which, to a degree, good riddance, but at the same time, it's like, where did it go? Which, arguably, we should be used to this at this point, but nope. Not really. Don't like this. I need to stop running away. Oh, definitely gonna be more than a few rounds. another round. I'd say maybe 4. If we're lucky, especially given these are size 10 needles. Likely this might end up being 4 more rounds before I use the rest of this dusty pink we're going with here. Which, let me see if that would potentially... More than likely it should fit, arguably. Yeah, arguably it should stay on one's head. Yeah. Oop. Oh, okay. Didn't do much misdirection. Okay, arguably I could have gone with like slightly off stitches. I think I went with 80. Just to be on the safe side. Which, this is not for me. My mom wanted this, so this is arguably commission. Which is also why I'm using pink, because as we all know, pink is not one of my favorite colors. I don't hate it as much as I used to. I believe I mentioned this on a previous stream, but yeah. Pink is one of those colors I've slowly adjusted to. Deal with it, but yeah. Not like, you know, my most favorite color ever or anything along those lines. Although, I don't really dislike most colors. Other than pink, I'd wager really orange and yellow. Yellow especially. Unless it's like a golden tone to it. Tend to not be colors I enjoy terribly much. Even though like brighter colors tend to work for me better. So, it's one of those things. But you can obviously tell my color palette tends to hit with the jewel tones more. Which, that's also kind of why I enjoyed working on that draw this in your style thing, which, by that I mean the girl in the frog onesie. I call it a hoodie, but it was arguably a onesie. Should have added a pocket, which it's still weird I didn't put a pocket on, because I am very much one for having things that involve pockets in them. It's my preferred thing, and I mean good pockets, not these false hope of pockets that women's fashion tends to incorporate into their styles. It's stupid. Like, I would very much prefer having actual pockets, please. Makes life easier. So I don't have to carry a bag everywhere I bloody well go. I mean, yes, bags come in handy when you need the larger stuff, but it's like if I just need to carry out my phone, my wallet, I likely don't need, you know, a bag or a purse. Although, if I know it's somewhere I need to wait in line, potentially, I would definitely take like a small knitting project, so it's like something I don't have to think about, like this. So, bag is arguably good in that regard. But yeah, if it's not anywhere it's like I'm gonna be waiting terribly long, I very much do not want to have, hey, look, here's this bag where it has almost nothing in there. Cool. Just feels like a waste. Also, down here is getting dark. No sunlight, come back. It's not so bad. The gain's pretty much all the way up, so likely I'll need to get a light of some sort. I was hoping the sunlight would stay longer. Like at least until 2 o'clock or so, maybe. But no, of course not. Why would it? Let's see. Nope, don't do that. Bing. Also, still kind of in the mood to knit hats. I still need to find that purple and gray hat that I made for myself. I don't know where the heck I put it. It is likely in one of the bags that I have hanging around in here. I don't have a ton, but I have a couple. Majority of my hats hangs out in one bag. It's really weird I can't find that hat. Unless my mother borrowed it. My mom likes to sometimes be like, yoink. This hat is mine, and it's like, I didn't give that to you. Which to her apparently sounds like the most offending thing ever. It's like, really? It's a pain sometimes. I'm gonna, once I finish this round here, I'm gonna grab said light. Which also, that might mean I will likely have to adjust my white balance and such. Because that's gonna throw everything off. Which is very unhelpful. How about I stop wandering out of frame? That would be great. Running out of this color is taking a little bit longer than I expected, which is arguably a good thing. Because the original hats that this color were used on were size 7. So it makes sense me going up a whole 1.5 millimeters. I mean, it would take a bit longer to get the yarn to cease to exist. Boop-a-doo. Okay, where are we? So I realize I've not been floating around the emote poll, so I'm probably, once I take my break in another 20 minutes, give or take, likely I'm gonna put that in there so you guys can grab at that. In the midst of all that, kind of been forgetting. Because we have a couple of emote slots available, so I am pondering whether or not to, you know, see what you guys feel like about said emotes and stuff. Alright, and let's see if I can get that too. So I don't need this in my face today, which is where the main issue lies. I wonder if I had something thin and tall, like about this level, I could have it prop up, but there's nothing I could think of right now that would be about that size ratio I'd be able to hold this up with. which is the main issue here. Like, I know I have one of these, but that's too short. It would have to be like, say, a book or something. Ugh. But that's gonna take a while for me to find a book that would properly fit this height. So, please stay. Okay. Oh, okay, that's not bad. Although, stitch marker is coming off definitely more like a deep purple rather than red, so it's failing to pick up the red notes slightly. There are worse things. But yeah, that's better. Do. And also, yay, at least it's not have to be in my face. Because that kind of strains my eyes a little bit to have that thing all the way up and in my face. Nope, don't do that. Also, Caledon, I realize I haven't asked, but what are your plans for today? Come on. Oh, so my throat feels dry as all hell. Should probably have some water, maybe. Where is, oh, okay. Water bottle's right over there. So I can grab that if I absolutely need to, but I think I can wait till break. Do.
Man, nobody come, they eat already.
Oh, so it looks like this isn't alright? Maybe. Might be alright. Hopefully. Might need to plug it in. Which that's also the other reason why I kind of want to replace this thing. It's not that great at holding charge. Not terrible, but not great either at this point. Which means likely the rechargeable battery in this has likely started to degrade and all that jazz. Which, isn't good. So hopefully I presume next week. Yeah. Because the date they check for payout is, if you hit the threshold, it's the 12th, so that would be Sunday for this month. So likely, yeah, that'll be the day after my Prime runs out, which is a shame. But I only got like a one week trial, whatever. But that's only so I could get the stuff I wanted for next week to show up. But I did not get the wig like I was thinking I would. I was like, you know what? Nah. Not like I go do Halloween stuff and things, so just having purple wig around would probably just take up a wee bit more space. So I would have nowhere to put it. Because in order to keep wigs in like pretty good condition, you kind of need like, you know, styrofoam head or something on there. Although, arguably, probably just be good to get one of those anyway. And, hold on. How about you please stay where I put you? That would be really great. Like, seriously great. Okay, yeah, we have to weave those in at some point, but I guess it's best, at least for the moment, to leave that tied so it doesn't start doing that weirdness. Yeah, probably a good idea. Although it's definitely arguable I could have made those ends a little bit longer so weaving them in will not be a torturous process for me. Also, the one plus of cleaning off my bookshelf, or at least, you know, part of it, is the fact where it's like, hey, you find stuff you forget that was on there, which, in my case, it was like definitely one or two important things I was like, oh, I forgot this was here. Definitely a good idea to keep those. Which one was my passport. So I was just like, oh, that's there. Okay, cool. Because, you know, we haven't really been traveling anywhere, and the last place I've used my passport was late 2018, so yeah, I completely forgot. Plus, flying is not my jam. So, another reason why I tend to not really be looking around for my passport. Which, speaking of flying, do you guys have any, like, interesting or, like, not fun stories about flying? Whether it be, you know, past or present. Well, arguably all past, because no one would be flying right now and talking to me unless they were like stuck at the terminal waiting. Because that would never happen. Flights never get delayed. Blech. Which that's what's happened with the last flight I was on in 2018. It was like we were there and it was like, oh, your flight's delayed for like 2 hours. And it's like, are you kidding me? Because it was like 8 p.m. It was a nighttime flight, so it was like, how dare you? Sit around. I was on my phone. I had my phone, so it wasn't like I was completely bored. Plus the whole, you know, it it was an international flight, so I didn't want to have to pull out my knitting or whatever, just in case, they had qualms with that. I know in the US, typically, they do not have qualms with that, but, depending on the airlines, they might. I knew, in-flight entertainment was not going to be, passable. So I basically was listening to one of the crime podcasts, Moms and Murder, which I haven't listened to that podcast in a while. I know at least a good chunk of episodes have stacked up, so I might get back on that at some point. So that and was knitting sock. I believe, what is it, the Celtic cable? Yeah, Celtic cable socks with the green. Multisync! Which, I believe it's Multisync. Thank you for that follow. How you doing? How goes your Friday? Hope all is well. I'm just, randomly recounting last time I was on a plane, which was literally just almost 3 years to the day. But how are you? Welcome to the channel. Do you happen to do any crafting? If so, what do you do? If not, hope you enjoy me working on this hat. Which, it's nothing fancy. It's pretty much basically stockinette. Although I am going to be switching colors once I am done with this bit of Dusty Rose Pink that I have here, which is probably going to be, say, another round or two. Just writing, that is completely fair. Well, knitting is not the only thing I do, so just as a heads up, which, yeah, next week will not be any knitting, at least on stream, because I'm doing charity stuff and things, but typically, mostly crafting, so knitting, crocheting, spinning. Never fair. Yeah, the number thing. I put, small moderations in there to verify a thing or two in chat. Post, all of the craziness that has been the past couple of months, so sorry about that. You're the second person who's I had to verify a thing. I just do that preemptively. Because they have it so it's you have to verify your email and I believe phone number. But that's about it. Nothing really, really pressing. You're in it. That's all that matters to me. Okay. That works. Oh yeah, what was I saying? Yes, so basically I knit, crochet, spin, weave. Weaving rarely. Some chainmail. That would be these. Digital traditional art and sometimes games. Usually Stardew Valley and some other chill things. I'm very much of the chill game variety, even though Hades has definitely been a game I've been playing lately. I haven't touched it. I'm procrastinating. Oh no. Ooh, what cardigan though? Yeah. Definitely one of my favorites. I have it on the Switch, I have it on the PC, and I have it on mobile, although I've not played mobile in quite some time. But I do have the other options. But yeah, next week I'm planning to do like charity streams for Project Linus. So basically, I'm going to be playing a different game every single stream day of the week, which my stream schedule is typically Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. That might change in the new year, but for now, that's what my schedule is. And it's usually on about 1 to 4 p.m. Sometimes I end up showing up late because stuff happens. Life exists. Or having to stay. Or end up staying late because, stuff happens. Also, Snog. I am guessing that is a Ravelry pattern. So, let me copy that and toss that into Google and see what I get. Yep, Ravelry. Cable. Also, I love cables, so you have me at cables. Let's see. It's a really pale color, so it's like an off-white or a light gray. Oh wow, that is much cables. That is pretty. But that is very much cables. And what are those? Oh, okay. Those look like wooden buttons, which I always like that as a nice touch. It's always kind of cute. And that color. That looks like fun, but again, it's much cables forever. I did not get a head wrapped around the pattern in English, so now I'm going to try that myself, which... Oh, okay, yeah, that would make sense. But, ow. It's $9, but I'm guessing this is one of those where it's like you have to sew the pieces together. Oh. Oh, okay, but it should knit up fast enough. Oh, it's a bulky. I almost never use bulky yarn. Wool alpaca. Ooh, that is gonna be warm. That is gonna be warm. And squishy and cozy. Definitely good luck. I have not knit a cardigan. I am working on like my second ever sweater. I still need more yarn for that. But that's one of my products on the needles currently. Also, I'm pretty sure I'm about where I typically take my break. I'm not scared by the cables, but the construction of the card is a bit more scary. Well, no. I would not think with that. Is there steeking involved? I hope not. Steeking is definitely more of a color work thing. But I'm guessing you have to like knit it in parts and then sew it together. Which, that is not my jam. I personally prefer having stuff where it's like, it's all in one piece. That is typically my preference. That's just me. There's nothing wrong with, doing it in pieces and put it together, but it's just, I'm like, that is too much work. Also, I think I sidetracked myself from what I was discussing, which, gonna be doing charity streams next week, so basically gonna be playing a different game every day. Every stream day, rather. So Tuesday it's gonna be Sherlock Holmes, Crimes and Punishments. Wednesday I'm planning to be Ori and the Blind Forest. Friday is gonna be Hades, and then Saturday is gonna be GeoGuessr. It's all gonna be a time for various reasons. Ori and the Blind Forest is the only game I have not played, period. Well, actually, no, I've seen GeoGuessr play, but I've not personally played it, but yeah. 'tis a time. Also, why are we doing this arm? But yes, it should be fun and interesting, and we will see how it goes. Depending how it turns out this year, I might do it as a yearly thing. Also, I should probably take my break, but I'm just here like la 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 la. I'll just sit here and talk and knit in circles. It's fine. Totally don't need to stretch or anything. It's completely fine. Of a kid. Is that like, you know, where in the world is Carmen Sandiego? Or heck, where's Waldo? I know that both of those are definitely, you know, go to various places around the world and all that stuff. At least I think the latter does. I know the former. Alright, once I finish this round, I'm definitely gonna take my break and see what happens. Come on. Oh, also your follow put us, at least if the count correct right now is correct, I think so, that puts us 5 follows from hitting the 1K, which, that is a thing. Still can't believe we were just inching our way that close. Yeah, I've not been really paying attention until I was like, oh. It's like, surprise! Because I had thrown it out in like the beginning of the year. I was like, hey, it'd be great if we maybe get it to 1K. But given, you know, people going back to work and school respectively, I figured, like, you know, that was gonna slow down a bit. So I figured it would probably be a very far reach to happen, so I was like, if it happens, it happens. Alright. That finishes that round. Might get one more round out of this bit of yarn that I have here. We'll see. And I'm gonna go take my break now before I forget to, but hopefully you'll stick around with us. We have some mini games here on the Be Right Back screen. Let's double check that this is working. It should be. Where are we? There we go. Hi. But yeah, been working on Pat and such. As I chat about various things like, you know, terrible times at the airport, so on and so forth. Which I have not been, you know, in one since, you know, 2018, so before the old plague became a thing. So thankfully I've not had to deal with that experience. Which for some people I know it's required because, you know, the jobs and such. But, voluntary travel. Not been much of a thing, I feel like, for most people for a while. Not that I traveled around terribly much to begin with before all of this chaos. But yeah, it certainly made extra sure that that was not going to be a thing for a while. Alright, let's see. I will see if I can attempt to get around another time, but I do think this will likely be last round for this yarn. Barring anything real weird. Really should finish packing up these things if I had the chance to today. If I do, I'd be able to get them out the door tomorrow, but one of them I don't think the package. Socks are likely not going to dry by that point unless I get lucky. Then I'll wrap them up. And see how it goes from there. Yeah, it's definitely not going to make it another time around unless I get very lucky. Which is perfectly fine at this point in time. I kind of want to switch to another color. I'll be real honest. Because I very much tend to not do stockinette sort of things. Typically. I mean, yes, it's easier, but it's like, I feel like my brain needs to be occupied with something while working on things, which is likely why, I listen to podcasts and stuff at times when I'm crafting. So it's like if it's something ridiculously simple, my brain is occupied with the podcast, so I can be entertained and still work on the figs. Alright, so this is the length we have left. I don't think this is going to make another round, so just leave it as is. Eventually we'll, do the thing. Which, also, I should see how long this is. Oh, put that back. Make sure I leave a significant enough tail for this to weave that in later on. And then go from there. Although, this is the second color. So basically the upper part of the hat is going to be this darker pink. We'll see how far it gets. I'm not sure how much of this I truly have. So, essentially this might end up being a small bit of yarn chicken. But we will see how it goes. I think this is also loops and thread and packable. I think this is like, if not Rouge, like something like Sucker Punch, but I doubt it's something like that. Although I could arguably check the Michaels website. I know it's loops and thread and packable yarn, but I do not remember what the color name is. I bought this like a couple of years ago from there. So definitely it's like a really, really... Oh, I forgot the S. Whoops. I put Michael.com. Oh, and it looks like I've stumbled upon Very, very, very weird. Why am I seeing stuff with micro? You know what? Yeah, I'm just gonna go off there. I don't need to see that in my life. Alright, so let's see. Shop categories. Yarn. Loops and threads. Which that's Michael's house brand out of Texas. For anybody who's not aware. Acrylic. Yeah. Please go away. Which they do have a nice color selection, but it's like they didn't have as much in the way of yardage in comparison to Red Heart, but it's definitely softer than Red Heart. Okay, I think it might be this color. Which, Lippy! Ah, that's what the name of it is. Yeah, that's definitely it. Okay, that's orange, so. Okay, so at least I know what it is. Ta-da! I just couldn't remember it, although I'm pretty sure I think I have a thing full of yarn labels over there-ish somewhere, so. Ah. Oh, is there like a period that prevents you from running ads? Huh, that's interesting. But the pre-roll is still off up there, but I wonder. But yeah, this is called Lippy, apparently. Which, that is an interesting name, but I guess like Lippy, like lipstick, like a bold lipstick color, I guess is what they were getting at with this name. Which, if that's the vein they were going for, fine. Makes sense enough. Alright. Although it's better than what Arteza calls, like, one of the colors they have, it's called Plum, and it's like really pink about this shade, and I was just like, I remember when I first got those color pencils, I was like, and like going through it, like looking at the colors, I was just like, that doesn't sound right. Because arguably, plums are typically purple. I believe they can be other colors, but certainly not this pink. So I was like, I have a bone to pick. But yeah, I have feelings about colors that are misleading in naming. Kinda drives me nuts. And given enough of what I do tends to involve, you know, accuracy in color, it would make sense I would have, you know, opinions about them. Although, yeah, it can be hard, especially you have a large line of colors to name it, but it's like there's a difference between, hey, this name is not quite right, to this name doesn't really sync up with this color. There is a difference. Which I honestly could sit here and talk about color names for a while. I think I've had like mini rants about color, like at least once or twice on here. It's a thing. Not chronically a thing, but a thing. Whoops. Also, this is one of my stitch markers. Bit of chainmail here. Which I have available in the shop. A couple of pre-made sets, which I am going to be taking apart those colors once those listings expire and changing up into new color sets, so if you happen to want to check out my shop, although obviously at this point might not be able to guarantee for Christmas, arguably, at this point in time because shipping is weird. And by weird, I mean basically everything's gonna be absolutely delayed at this point. So it's like pretty difficult to guarantee for Christmas. I mean, yes, USPS is like guaranteeing stuff for Christmas until I believe I'd say next week, if I'm not mistaken. My shop, I literally have it till tomorrow. Although even arguably now, it's like, maybe, but it honestly depends on where it's going. If it's an international, you can forget about it. I sent my mom. Oh. Yeah, like everything's in the it's gonna get jammed up phase at this point. Also, hi Jane! How goes? I have not sent out your thing yet, but I likely will. If not tomorrow, hopefully Monday. How are you? And how goes your Friday? Yay! Congratulations. I'm here on second color of hat. Oh, we finally got that done. What? What? You need to go do something, you know. Sorry, brother is standing in the doorway. Wanted to see if he needed my assistance or something. But yeah, hopefully Friday. Not really. I think because, you know, both my parents are not inside, so he'll sometimes want to, you know, wander around. Although, it's his thing to flip around on the TV, like, I think he broke the channel button on the last remote, and we had to get that one replaced for that room. Which, given I still have the first remote that came with my TV when we got Verizon, it's like, yeah. And he really likes 25 words or less, so it's like whenever it comes on, he's just like, that's the channel he puts it on. It's a whole thing. But yeah, he was probably just seeing what the heck I was doing. Do, do, do. But yeah, hat, at least what I have here is about like, it says 6 inches, but it might be longer than that because I'm on 16-inch cable. So, you know, it's gonna cinch up a little bit. Also, figuring out things for next week because, you know, that's gonna be a thing sooner than later. Which that's kind of why I wanted to get the art stuff done. I have socks drying over there, stuff being packaged, and it's just like all the things. Help. And I'll probably all end up fine, but I'm just kind of a little stressed. Just a tiny bit. It'll work out more than likely. But yeah, I likely will not work on emote stuff till, like, I imagine, if not after Christmas. No plans to go, I have no idea what the hell they're doing. You know very well I'm in the, I don't give a crap. If anything, I suspect, like, say, if it's gonna be for this winter, it might be after Christmas. I don't know. Who knows? I don't know what they're doing. Either way, we will see. Although my only concern is that I had that coffee, the instant coffee, the flavored instant coffee I bought while I was down there. I forgot it down there, so that's my only concern right now. Hopefully it's still good. 'Cause that was like $10. So I very much... yeah, for like 5 minutes, but yeah. I really am annoyed. I forgot that down there, of all things. Cause I think I was gonna put it in my bag and I just put it down somewhere and completely forgot it existed. Oh well. Should hopefully be fine. I think I had the lid on tight enough and definitely should not attract ants because it's not sweet on its own because, you know, it's instant coffee. Boop doo. Yeah, pretty much literally getting stuff out the door is kind of like the immediate thing on my docket, and making sure next week goes off without any major of a hitch. Which I still have not gotten a chance to ask if anybody wants to, you know, be a temporary sub. Not sub, temporary mod in the channel. Although arguably I know, what is it? VIPs arguably have mod power, in the most part, minus the ability to ban people, obviously. So if anybody who's a VIP would want to be a temp sub, I would have to change up their badges. But that would be a quick thing. Probably wouldn't need too many, but it's just, I guess I kind of want a couple more eyes on the channel just in case. Although likely there should be not terribly much, if any, issues. Given I already have protections around here and so on and so forth. So it should be fine. But I can't help overthinking it because that's unfortunately how I work. As you guys, and probably the boyfriend too, he's aware. Not even likely. He's kind of like me in that, overthinking at times. Come on. Which, oh, so that makes me wonder, when he showed up in here the other day, I wonder if anybody, I don't think so, but given at least I know some people tend to watch the VODs, someone might have, you know, clipped something. I doubt it, but because no one really clips terribly much, which that is completely fine. But it just amuses me when... What? No. Nothing major. Boyfriend, mine, popped in here the other day and proceeded to follow and sub and spam my own emotes back at me, which was like, really? Yeah, that's a thing. He is a dork. And I mean that in the kindest way possible. Thanks. It's been a thing since March? March. But I have referred to him once or twice, but I don't think you guys have been like, has paid attention to me when I said it, so I've just been like, okay. Out of state actually. Which, such is my luck, but not terribly far. Like a couple states over. But also on the East Coast, so I don't have to worry about time zones. Although, I feel like he has a crap sleeping schedule at times. For various reasons, so it's like, he's up later than I am. Although, arguably, there are times that I'm up stupid late, too. But we did it online for like, aw. Yeah, I've known him through other friend. I forget if you were here when I was mentioning, chicken story. Basically, random chicken that might have been a pet showed up on his and now wife's property for like no random reason. Like, it was trying to get shade because it was still summer at that point. But yeah, know him via said friend. So it wasn't just like, oh hey, I like you, let's date. It's been a couple years and it was just like, oh. And I'm like I'm definitely, when it comes to dating things, it's like, I tend to not pick up on people liking me in that way very easily. I tend to be like a while later, be like, wait, were they? Oh, I'm a dumbass. Ugh. Also, oh yeah, you had mentioned that about the MMO. Which I find that adorable, also dorky. Honestly, I'm like that with people in person too, so no. It's not remotely, it's just I'm dumb. It's just I am dumb. Ugh. I tend to not pick up on cues like that, unless someone straight up tells me. Or if I figure out much later via context clues. So yeah, that's a thing. I highly doubt he'll show up here terribly often unless he wants to be, no, not yet. I mean, especially given, you know, plague. I'm not out much to begin with. Aw. Yeah. Plus, remember the whole I don't drive. I mean, I have my permit still. I don't drive. That's also unhelpful. I'm so sick of all the way. 5 hours later was always annoying. Yeah. So I was shocked. Aw. Yeah. But yeah, all signs, he is lovely, and hopefully it'll be a long-term thing. But yeah, he's the one I made the chainmail bracelets and the socks for, so that's why I was like, I'm hoping it'll get there for Christmas. He's also getting the stuff, and I'm just like, you don't have to get me things. And he's like, I'm aware. But I'm gonna do it anyway. Nothing expensive. Pins from the YouTube channel I like, Overly Sarcastic Productions. And likely some tea. Because, as we all know, I like me some tea, because tea is lovely. But yeah, those pastimes, me being unaware, I feel like I probably wasn't ready for that sort of thing anyway. So it's honestly probably a good thing I didn't notice until, you know, in retrospect. Yeah. Anodized aluminum. I do have some steel. I would have to grab some stuff. But yeah, mostly for me, anodized aluminum, because it's, you know, least expensive sort of stuff. Plus, you know, can get a good quantity out of it without, you know, losing an arm and a leg in pricing. And then, what else? But there's, like, you know, gold and silver and niobium, all the fancy stuff. Yeah, steel's a little bit more work to work with, but I've actually gotten used to it. Plus, it helps I have, you know, pliers that are, like, are good enough quality. That helps, too. Because I have the Zuron pliers, which I'm looking at them from right here. I would grab them, but it's a bit out of reach for me right now. But yeah, the ones with the blue handles. Nice little investment. And my grip is slipping a lot less than compared to when I was using the previous ones. Which, they're good for getting started, but you know, scratching up the rings every 5 seconds, it's like, can we not? Like, they're literally a set I got, like, for half price at Michael's. So, you know, let's see. But honestly, to a degree, that stuff was mainly for me when I was making the beaded stitch markers, which I still have available in the shop, but I'm gonna likely not renew that listing, so it's probably not gonna be a thing unless, you know, someone commissions those for me or something. But yeah, stuff like these in order to get the split ring. I think this is, it's either split ring or the other one. No. Yeah, this is split ring. Because the jump ring is the one you can easily open. Does it cost a lot? No, but the thing is, I'd rather not repeatedly put something up there that doesn't sell. And that's been up there for quite a while. So I like to rotate out of my listings sometimes. But yeah, it's 20 cents every time, and a listing's up for like 3 months every time, so for a year, it's arguably about 80 cents. Made some channel jewelry. But she only works in... Yeah, with that stuff, you have to make sure you know what you're doing with your weave, so you do not scratch up your rings. So, that's a thing. Like, when you're working with that sort of material, it's like, make sure you know your weave backwards, forwards, and sideways to avoid having to adjust too much. Plus, that stuff is expensive per ounce. Like, although, I feel like the prices would be similar depending on where you get it from, but the Ringlord, they're in Canada. That's where I get mine, and it's like, I forget, like $60 per ounce or something like that. Because they sell per ounce. But I would have to double check, which I easily should be able to do. Which, this is reminding me I need to stock up on rings, because there's at least a couple of colors I want to stock up on. Oh, let's see. I can actually, because I don't need this, because I was looking at the color this is, which these are both loops and thread impeccable colors. Ringlord. Let's see. Rings. Let's see. And it also depends on the size, too. Let's see. Bright aluminum, brass, enameled copper. There's bronze. There's galvanized steel, carbon steel. niobium, which that stuff is stupid expensive if I'm recalling correctly. But it's pretty and colorful. Yeah, it's like 35 bucks an ounce. Oh, so it depends on the size, because I see it going up the smaller you go. Yeah. Let's see. Silver and gold. Let's go back here. I can't see chat at the moment. Oh, yeah, titanium. I forgot that's here. Yeah, they don't sell gold here. But they have saw-cut silver. There's fine silver and sterling silver available. Which fine silver is 99.9% silver, and sterling silver is 92.5%. Which, let's see. Okay. It's like nearly 50 to 60, some above $60 per ounce, closer to, yeah. With the tiny, tiny ones. 24. It's like 75 to almost 80. It's insane. Like, that's why they kind of have to price, you know, some of the stuff. The bell rung. Alrighty. Thank you for popping in, Jane. See you later. Hope the rest of your day goes well. Made some steel mid rings. So I stopped there. I've thought about doing that. Dang. Thought so. But glad to see you. But yeah, make stitch markers, make jewelry. A couple of keychains, but mainly it would be these, which I was doing this on stream the other day. Wee little cube, Japanese cube, which I could arguably make it bigger, but you know, the cubes take a bit of rings to make them, because you know, you double the rings on every single one of these, so, and this is like about 140 rings it takes to make one of these, which if you're doing it in one color, that's 140 of one color. And for anodized aluminum, an ounce is like 400, so that's like nearly 30% of the rings in like one of those cubes. Hey, fair. I know that's not everybody's thing, which I'm honestly thinking if I put these are not a thing in my shop yet, but I'm contemplating having this be a thing next year. So I'd probably have like this, or if someone wants it as like a nice little fidget thing, I would, you know, take off this and like have it, the cube, solely as a thing itself. So I have like, how many of these? There's this one. But I would never attach my... There. Completely fair. I have this in like Halloween colors. I've made this like 2 years ago. It's been sitting here. I have no real use for it. But yeah, it could be keychain, it could be on a bag, or whatever the case may have you. Something like that to be able to be attached to. Or heck, even like, you know how some people have one of those things like on, you know, behind the rear view mirror on the car? That sort of place too. But yeah, that's an idea I'm having for next year. We'll see how it goes. Could you get the dice? I was thinking, yeah, that has been an idea of mine, maybe, depending. Like, you know, the little thing where it's like the dot here and then, you know, dot here. arguably, I'm thinking maybe if I made some like little yarn things and attach it to there, that could be possible. The only thing is I think I would have to have it like this way, like attach the thing this way in order to make sure I'd be able to cover this side in the thing. But I've had the idea, but I haven't figured out a way to execute it in a manner that would be preferable to me. But that's one of those things I kind of need to sit down and figure out. Because I figured, especially with anybody who, does D&D or anything like that, having, chainmail dice keychain would actually be pretty cool. So that's definitely on my list of things to be like, how do I execute this thing? Which, speaking of, I know some people would like, what is it, like, they have, like, those D20 dice. Rings in contrasting color that would indicate the eyes. If I went any larger, maybe. Like, if I take out this ring here, that would be 1. And then, 2 on the edge, but it's like the sides is the only thing here that I would think that would be an issue on. Unless, like, these areas that would add up for that. So I'd have to plan in advance, but I think it would be possible. Like, like, say a silver, because I don't have white. Which, white is not a color I see in chainmail rings terribly often. But I know they exist, because one time I got, like, tiny chainmail rings, and there was a little bit of them in white, and I was like, there's white ones? I had no clue there were white ones, but it makes sense. And by tiny, I mean like this size. I think it's like 20. What is it? AG? So it's not AGW, it's SGW. No, AWG and SWG. I was switching the wire and gauge part. Whoops. Because of American wire gauge and standard wire gauge, which I believe standard is goes a little bit thinner than American, if I am not mistaken. So some places, if you were looking for an 18, you would have to go look at the 16, depending on which one they go as. It's a whole thing. Okay. Yeah, let me tie that so I'd eventually. Arguably, that's our whole thing, being contrarians. I mean, come on. We have Fahrenheit while almost the entire rest of the world is in Celsius. And then, what is it? Is it us with Imperial, and then there's... Oh, what's the other one? There's Imperial, and then there's Metric. Yeah, I believe we're Imperial. I always forget which one's which, but I'm pretty certain America is the Imperial. What's feet and inches and such. Which is always why it makes it so weird when it's like you're trying to read, stuff in other countries and it's just like, oh, I need to convert this because this is not our usual thing. Cool. But given how established it is at this point, it would be hard to switch. So I feel like it should be like, we have both. as a ready thing, like at least with the temperature and other various measurements. I mean, yes, rulers have both, but it's like definitely we still lean very, very hard on the feet and inches and all that jazz. Also, quick question if you don't mind. I presume you are not American by that statement, which that is totally cool. I know with my given time schedule, I tend to at times attract people of the lovely countries of Europe and sometimes Asia, on the rare occasion. And did I say countries? I said wow, I mean continents. Wow, cool. I meant continents. But yeah, Europe, Asia, and sometimes on the very rare occasion, Australia. Which I'm just like, guys, it's stupid early for you. I know it's stupid early. I appreciate you, but ow. It's early night. Okay, yeah, you're 6 hours ahead if I am not. Yeah, I'm like, you should definitely be about 6 hours ahead of me. So yeah, that makes sense. But I definitely appreciate you hanging out with us. Also, it's not my place to tell people where to be. So I definitely appreciate anybody who hangs out with us, even if it's a ridiculously early or late time for you. But it's just, I guess because I'm usually, like, especially with Twitch, I'm like, after, like, say, about 9 or so, on the rare occasion, maybe 10, I tend to not, frequent Twitch that much, but that's mainly because at that point in time, I tend to be all socialed out, or because Twitch is definitely the place I feel like it's my social place to hang out. I mean, yes, lurking is definitely an option, but I always feel like I should be, you know, chatting with people at least a little bit while I'm hanging out in their streams. So I'm usually after, like, say, 9 or at worst 10 my time, I'm like, goodbye for the evening. You guys have fun. It's like, thank you. That isn't just gaming. Yeah. Yeah, I prefer the very chill kind of vibes. Or at least that's my intent. But yeah, I'm definitely in the fiber arts and sometimes a bit of art, but definitely usually in that lane. And there's, you know, some fiber artists like me who sometimes play the games, so there's also that nice combination too. Alright, how are we? Oh, we're past the 2-hour mark. Cool. Yeah, I try to take hourly breaks to avoid my neck and my back being very cranky at me. So, let's see. A little bit more. And then I will take my break. Probably after this round, I will take my second break. Yeah. Yeah. Especially given I hunch at times, like, it's been a thing, like, after a while, the back part of my neck, especially if I'm down like that, or, like, looking upwards and straining, it tends to get annoyed at me, so I try to be good and do that, especially on stream. Sometimes if I'm off stream, that is not a thing I do. I'm definitely more accountable while I'm here. However, offline, I'm trying to be better at that. do do. Also, I think I have some dishes that need washing. Not a ton, but at least a couple that require some washing. So that is also a thing I need to get on. So definitely we'll deal with that during my usual break. And then do some stretching. And then go from there. Also, probably make sure I drink some water again. Do 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 do. Also, it's kind of amusing I've bought both of these colors. I was saying earlier, tend to not be a fan of pink. But given how, saturated it is, I definitely like, of the jewel tone variety, so like deep shades of that, so nothing in the middle, typically, but it depends. Alright, and we're almost done with this round, and then I will be good and actually take my break. Alright. And do that so the stitch marker doesn't come off, and then it is break time. Okay, we have about an inch, well, almost an inch, I'd wager, compared to my thumb, of new color, so we're definitely getting there. Not sure if I'll make it to the top of the hat with what I have, but we will see what happens. Hopefully I'll have more of this somewhere, we'll see. I'm not sure, but I think I do. But anyway, break time for me. Totally feel free if you have not taken a break. Anybody who happened to just pop in, hope you're doing well. Working on this pretty simple 2-color hat from my mom who commissioned me this thing. So we're on the latter half. Now we're getting to the second color, which also, I should have compared those other smaller hats, but those were more kid size, so yeah, this likely will fit, because thankfully stockinette is very stretchy. If I weren't doing this in a round, I'd half consider doing some areas in garter, just to give, a little textural variation. But, that involved me, given I'm in the round, having to purl in certain spots. And purling slows me down a little bit. Plus, it's not how I did the original hat anyway, so it's fine. Do 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 do. But yeah, if I don't finish this today, likely I will finish this tomorrow. Because again, this is a quick project, so that works out pretty well. Come on. I just have to weave in some ends. I feel like having to go to Michael's to buy more of this yarn, so I was just like, you know what? let me just use it from stuff I have sitting around that I have no intention of using at this point. And given it's stuff I haven't really worn, so it's pretty good. Don't have to worry about really cleaning it. Although I probably will just chuck this in the wash anyway. Just to make sure. But it should be alright. Also, let's see. This compared to this, yeah. Might need to up the saturation just a little bit so you can see, because it's definitely lighter on camera. That's more than likely because, you know, the light's on, and I didn't have the light on when I was doing setup for the camera earlier in the day. So, let's see. And then maybe a little tweak in the white balance. No, that's not quite right. Yeah, it's too blue. So it's definitely going to have to stay in this happy medium here. Alright, it's fine enough. Not terribly off anyway compared to in real life, so that's fine. Although, luckily, the camera is not freaking out due to this highly saturated pink. Because there's certain colors, like, you know, like certain shades of red tend to come up really weird on camera. Plus certain shades of blue and purple. Because I tend to swap where it's like, you know, if it's blue, the camera tends to be like, hey, it's purple. And if it's purple, it's like, hey, it's blue. And it's like, no, it's not. Knock it off. But thankfully, I can mess around with the white balance on this thing to a degree, correct it. Not to, like, where it's perfect, but at least it's more closer to what the actual color in question is right in front of me, so there's that. Da 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 da. Oops. It slid off the thing. Why? There it is. I literally have it propped up against the mic because it's not going to hold where I want it to be. Because I've had it for like a good couple of times, like up, and it's kind of in my face, and I very much do not like having the light, even at the lowest settings, in my face. Because it's not... The distance between here and here is like, say, arguably less than a foot, so that'd be bad. Arguably if I had a way of like hanging it somewhere, like off the ceiling or something, and like putting it there, so I wouldn't have to worry about that, that'd be great, but I don't think I would have anything in my setup to be capable to do that at this point in time, so yeah. Likely, if not, you know, this year, early next year, gonna definitely be replacing it for one with a different neck, because I'm not doing this again. Because that's very much annoying. But it has served its purpose well, so I'm not complaining on that regard. I've had this for like over a year. It's only in the past month or two that it's the thing that holds the light portion of this up where it's supposed to be has like all but given out. Although, arguably that in part could be my own fault, but I typically don't have any lights that, you know, rely on a hinge like that, so that didn't occur, that would be a potential issue. So, yeah. I learned things. So likely the next one will be one with more of an adjustable neck. So that sort of thing is not a matter I which I have to deal with once again. Also, I found a small nub of more of this, so likely I should be able to make it to the end of this hat. But yeah, that'll mean slightly more ends for me to weave in, but it's fine. Not gonna be the worst thing ever. That's honestly probably I'd say that's my weakness as a crafter at times. Having to weave in ends. Like, I have socks, like, I think these that I'm currently wearing. I don't think I've woven the ends. Like, I definitely know at least a good chunk of the socks that I have not woven in the ends. Even though it's probably a good idea, but... It's not like they're gonna fall apart if I don't, but... Sometimes it's a thing I can't bring myself to do, because it's just like, eh. It's fine. No one's really gonna see it anyway. Plus, sometimes, anyway, they'll felt in there anyway. By the time I finally get around to it, so... yeah. And honestly, as things go, that's not like the worst thing ever, if I don't weave an end. And this is only for things when it comes to me. But if I'm making stuff for other people, I will weave in the ends, like, that is not an option. I will do it. It's just for when it comes to myself, I tend to be like, I'll get to it. Do. I'd say maybe another 3 or 4 rounds and then I will start decreasing. Because this is what, about 7 inches. I don't need it like super long. It's not like the slouchy hats where it's like 12 inches long. That heart hat pattern hat, that's like 12. It's about 12 inches long. So a little long in the drape. Although, honestly, I've been contemplating playing around the pattern and basically removing, like, the first section of hearts and seeing how it goes from there. Or at least doing something slightly different. Plus, at some point, I might... see about writing up another pattern too, since I've made up, like, I'd say 1 or 2 other patterns? 1, arguably. Because it's not something I do frequently. But I do like my color work. So, stuff like that is certainly available to me. But at the same time, it's arguably something one can figure out via, like, say if they have, like, oh, what's that thing? Stitch Fiddle. Yeah. Or stuff like that. But you can also do stuff like, say, weaving patterns on there as well. Oops, come on. There it is. Also, in things, I have not checked out What's Its Face. Hawkeye, the show happening. I've just been like, meh. I guess I kind of don't want to get invested in anything MCU just because I'm not fond of the direction that they've gone since, you know, from the first movie where it was just like, it has its flaws, yes, but I found it enjoyable, and then it just kind of just went from that to like, bleh. From there on. Arguably, I've not seen any of the movies past that one. That's mainly because I've just been like, I've heard how these go, and I'm not sure I like them. I mean, yes, there's, what is there, Black Panther, which I still need to see. I have it on YouTube. Because someone gifted me a digital copy of said movie. And I've just been like, especially now that, you know, his actor is no longer with us. It's just like, this is gonna feel so awkward to watch it knowing he's not gonna be around, because I know there's the sequel, and I'm pretty sure they're obviously gonna have to replace his actor for that. Plus, I've read the comics, so I know at least that part. So I know how it goes. But it's just like, Which Black Panther was like, what, 2018, if not 2019? I presume 2018, because I do remember the lead up to that. Because everybody was just like, oh my god! Myself kind of included too. Because it was just like, what? Let's see. Yeah, 2018. Okay, I was like 2018, 2019. I couldn't remember which one. I knew it was one of them, but I wasn't sure when. But there are gonna likely be bits in there that are not, you know, in the comic. And likely they change around some things. But, you know, it happens. Although, sometimes it's kind of stupid, like how they did with Thor a little bit, because, you know, and at least what we know, because, you know, given, the region at the time was Christianized, was in, like, say, what is it? About the 900s or so. I know probably not the correct century, but around there, but, you know, where, you know, Ragnarok, Thor, Loki, and the rest of it all originated. They weren't brothers, or at least in the oldest version of, you know, said myths and folklore. Because they don't have any pre-Christianized sources, which, you know, that's a thing. Very much an annoying thing. But yeah, Thor and Loki were not brothers. I think, what, he and Odin were, like, blood brothers and stuff? So, you know, I'm not sure in Norse mythology what that's significant, what that entails. But, you know, arguably imagine some sort of strong bond or one thing or another. But anyway, my point is, you know, they're not, you know, fully pinpoint period accurate in the MCU, which I'm not saying that's a bad thing in some regards, because, you know, Norse mythology be dark as all hell. So it's fine they make some changes and edits if they want to. But it's like, at least make it make sense. But, you know, not my thing. It's Disney's thing, because it's Disney, right? Yeah, Disney owns them at this point. Because Disney wants to own everything. Aww. Sick of Disney. Ugh. Because it used to be my jam as a kid, and I still have a fond place in my heart for some things, but it's just like, I've become accustomed to not get attached to anything Disney. Like, the last thing Disney I've watched, I'd say, is Moana, which, Moana is good. I enjoyed it. Took me a while, because, you know, whenever things, like, first appear, I tend to, like, when it's getting hyped up and everything, I tend to be like, I'm gonna wait till the hype dies down, but, you know, not consciously. Because just, like, when things feel overhyped, like, and trying to sell me on something, it tends to make me want to go in the other direction. That's basically what my response is. So yeah. Haven't seen anything since Moana, although Encanto, I kind of want to watch it, but I'm at the same time like, Okay, where are we? I said like 2 or 3 more rounds, didn't I? And I'm just like babbling while doing this. Not really counting and or paying attention, because of course not. So I say maybe after this round, I will start decreasing, which I'll need to, I want to keep it even, so likely I will need to count how many stitches. But I'll likely do it like I do with a sock, in the sense that, hey, I decrease 4 stitches every other round and go from there. Come on. Also, hopefully my discussion of Norse mythology, what little I know, is accurate. Hopefully no one is offended. Like I said, I'm not, like, you know, anyone who knows a ton. But it's like, from what I know, MCU was not, you know, accurate. Like, what is it? Sif and Thor, if I remember in mythology, are married. And she's not, like, you know, pining over him and all that stuff. Although, I haven't seen Ragnarok, so I'm not sure how accurate that is to a degree. I mean, yes, Thor doesn't die, so, I mean, I think he has, like, a near-death experience in there, but, you know. Ragnarok, Loki, Thor, and pretty much, all the upper echelon of them are supposed to, die. And thus bring about, rebirth. Because I know Balder, who, based on how it's written, Loki supposedly killed him, in the Eddas. Although supposedly it's a practical trick gone wrong in how they wrote it, but given, contextually, how he is as a character, it feels like they kind of, might have overplayed that. Also, let me pause and, might have misplayed his motivations to why he did the thing. Oh yeah, let me count stitches. I'm pretty sure it's 80, but let me double check. Pretty certain it's 80. Also, how the hell did I do this? I accidentally pulled and wrapped it over here. Cool. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 65, 70, 75, 80. Alright, thought so. Just want to double check that I was not incorrect in what my count is. Alright, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then arguably I could have waited till the end of that 20, but it's fine. Decreasing. Once I get around this round, I'll see how far we are. 11, 12, 19, 20, 25, 26, 8, 29. Sorry, we have gotten into the it's time to start counting things portion. That's usually what happens when I start decreasing. $20, $22, $23, 4, 6, oops, 28, then do that, one, that should be second. So after this round, I'll be stocking it for the next round, so be able to focus on chat again. Alright, so 5, 10, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Although, arguably, I might have spaced too far. It should be every 20 stitches. So, where are we? 10. So, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 28, 29, 30. None of that. And there's this. So, that's third. And, yeah. I guess to keep it spaced even, likely. Well, even-ish. I'll have to be at the end of this set. Close to it. I do the last one. Arguably, I could just go back. Which, you know what? I could just go back. It's fine. Keep it evenly spaced. Do. Okay, not fully sure what that ramble was fully going on about. The end part, it was just... Don't get attached to Disney things. It is not worth it to a degree. Like, don't get fully invested. Especially in series and that sort of things. Because I feel like either they tend to end it early, or if they don't end it early, it tends to go downhill, but arguably that's the thing with every, single series. After a while, they're gonna run out of ideas, although, honestly, they've probably run out of, really good ideas, a while ago, given, for the most part, it's been, them rehashing stuff from other sources. Instead of having new original ideas for a while now, hence the Disney remakes, in order to check out the nostalgia well and get the cash for that. Which, pretty much, I feel like almost all of them have been, not great, from what I know. So I will stick to my 90s 2D animation version of pretty much almost all of these movies. Cool. Okay, here. Alright, so I have a little bit to go. Yeah. Come on! Ba-da-da-da-da. Almost there. And this is why I shouldn't go on rambling tangents while I do things. Involve me having to think. But will that stop me? No, it will not. 5, 10, 15. Alright, cool. So then, right here. Yeah. So then I can go back around and continue. Count the next 18. There. So I want it to be pretty much as even as possible. Oop. Be close. So let's see, where are we? 5, 10. Okay, 3 more. That, and then there should be. Because I have to figure out spacing from like right here to here. So 5, 10, 15, 18. Here, and then that arguably should leave 5, 10. Okay. Yeah. Alright, so knit until I hit 12 stitches. Knitting math is fun sometimes, ain't it? Oh, and high plane, please go away. Ding, ding. There. Alright, and come on. Alright, stocking it and then do the thing again. So, what are you guys gonna be up to following stream? Which, actually, how far is that? Alright, less than 10 minutes. That happened quickly. I imagine the whole rambling for about, I imagine, a good solid 20 minutes. It has something to do with that. Who would have guessed? For me, what was it? Slightly more shelf cleaning if I feel like it. And then following, let's see. Pondering stuff and things for next week and all that stuff. So yeah. Definitely stuff to do. Probably might stare at Animal Crossing a little bit on the Switch here. Which I got the second room, so... Which I had more than enough bells to like pay at the same time. Because I prefer to do it that way, so I am not, you know, having to work off a debt immediately. Because I didn't sign up for that. Even if it's virtual debt. Also, my only other thing is, I guess, because I'm so used to Stardew, it's so weird to not be able to carry around the entirety of your money with you. Although, arguably, it's also a good thing. Like, if that were a thing that were possible in Stardew. Like, say, if you fainted in the mines or something, you wouldn't get, like, you know, a good chunk of your money taken. Moxie! Hello! How are you doing? It's been a while. How are you? How goes things? I am here, as you can see, working on a hat. Just started a decreasing part. Not gonna be on for too much longer, like a good, I'd say, maybe 8 minutes or so. We'll see. Ooh, what was for lunch? Also, how was your Thanksgiving and all that stuff? What was in the fridge? Fair enough. Fair enough. But yeah, glad you've been good. Not sure if you know. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you haven't been around lately enough, but I am planning to do a couple of charity streams next week for Project Linus, so gonna be playing some games, doing some stuff, and having some goals. That kind of fun stuff. So definitely, if you want to pop in, it's going to be the usual time. So if you can, definitely feel free to stop in. Carrots, potatoes, onion chopped, fried in. Throw in some eggs. Hoping like the oh no. Throw in some ketchup and some Parmesan and butter. Okay. Okay. I was like, that would be different. I mean, I was gonna ask if it was a stir fry because you said oil, but yeah, butter. It's a difference. Usually use oil. Okay. Yeah, no, not exactly like a stir fry because, you know, stir fries typically have, like, you know, greens. Like, you know, leafy greens of some sort or some broccoli or anything like that. But either way, it sounds good. Oh, I didn't hit past where I was supposed to do the thing. Whoops. So, why is there rustling in the fridge? Okay, wasn't sure. I'm trying to presume that people don't know, so I'm trying to tell them the thing. It was... Well, as long as you can eat it and not want to hork, that's all that matters. Yeah. How was your... it was quiet. I haven't been able to... Yeah, I figured life things, because like I said, if you can show up, you can show up. If you can't, you can't. I get it. Life exists. Life is annoying sometimes. But you gotta take care of the IRL things. But yeah, holiday was quiet. Basically did the usual stuff. You know, make some small dinner. Boba tea stuff. Which that hasn't appeared yet, which makes sense. Especially with, you know, mailing system is gonna get very clogged at this point. So that's a thing. Yeah, her stuff is stupid adorable. I have a bunch of her stickers. I'm sending some to the other half because I had a couple of extra of each, so I'm just like, you know what? Let me do that. Which, now that I'm chatting about it, they're right here behind me, so I easily can grab them. Like, I have an unintentional sticker collection thanks to her. Ooh. And that is why I don't keep that there. I'm always worried about that knocking off and potentially breaking, because that would be bad. It's fine. It's this picture frame thing. There's no picture in it, but it's like there because I have nowhere else to put it. So yeah, I like that. Yeah, Sam. Also, this is a magnet, but I have it stuck with the stickers to make sure I know where it is. All right, so let's see. Because I got the Candy Cat bundle one time, which I didn't think I had many of these, but apparently I have 4. I like the console. I have like 2 of the console. And then there's I have 2 of these too. So I'm gonna get one of the boba. So yeah, mini glitter stickers. That's what happened. You were talking about, yes, I was talking about stickers. Also, hi Amber, how goes? So yeah, let's see. If I recount, like, oh, let me take that out. But look, I have so many goddamn Debbie stickers. I have one of these on one of my old sketchbooks. My first ever sketchbook. Yeah, the Tamagotchi one is stinking adorable. And then she has like a claw one too. But that's gonna be like, I think, January? Cute cat, the bunny, this. I have one of these on my desktop. These got printed, where did these get printed? Redbubble, which she doesn't use anymore. So yeah, I have had these for a while. Like, how many are these? I need to count. It's many. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Whoops. No, come back. Oh. 9. I'll get it. 10, 11, 12. I can see it. I'll just... 13, 14. Yeah, about 14, and then plus those 4 right there. That makes it 18. I have 18 stickers. Oh! I hadn't thought of that. And that is fair. Yeah, so it's like, I have stickers for days. Which, this is also why I have a bunch of her business cards, too. Like, I think a good 18. I was cleaning off my shelf earlier, and it's like in one of the cards that I have from her, because I always keep the cards and stuff, I was like, I found 2 more business cards, and I was just like, okay, cool. Which, I think that's why she tends to not give the business cards as much anymore, but I have a small amount compared to some people, like, it's ridiculous. Insane. But yes, many cute stickers to go on many things whenever I get the chance to do that. Also, oh, it does stick on there because it's metal. Thank you. You are welcome. I enjoy showing off the very cute stickers. But yeah, I believe, yeah, she doesn't use Redbubble anymore. I know that. But I believe she gets them printed elsewhere, if I am not mistaken. And basically, whenever there's like giveaways and stuff, she tends to sometimes give, stickers alone, or if there's bundles left from the stuff she does from on Ko-fi, because she has bundles on there beginning of the month, and whatever's left over, she'll give away as like for hitting the sub goal, the daily sub goal. So that's a thing. Yeah, that's somewhat similar to what I do. They are utilized, yeah. Oh, so... okay, I'm a wee bit over time, but that's fine. I can go for, like, another 5 minutes or so. Gothic Hippie, hello! Fortunately, it is not a thing. She used to sell on Redbubble, so the only way you can currently get her very adorable stickers is by going into her chat and potentially winning, a giveaway. Which giveaways do actually happen often, which is why I have an absurd amount of her stickers. But hi, how you doing? How goes? How goes your Friday? Hope all is good. Debbie Cat. I just call her Debbie for short. She does all the art streams, so that's why she has all the adorable stickers and stuff. Oh, yay! Oh, you're knitting some socks. Nice. I literally just finished socks. I don't have any socks on my needles right now. It's weird. I have other projects, so it's not like I'm lacking in that department. Not bad. Knitting this hat here. I have stuff to send out, so I need to get that done. Planning the last vestiges of stuff for next week. But I decided that doing charity streams at this point of the year was a smart idea. 2-8. Oh god, no. Yeah, the shop has been quiet, which I find it both a good and a bad thing. Good in the sense, like, you know, I have to worry about filling orders, but at the same time, it's like, why am I not getting any attention? Why? I'm like, it's fine. I will likely. So I'm gonna take this opportunity, you know, figure out things and start fresh next year. Do some changing around of what my inventory is, so on and so forth. So, yeah. Especially given, January and February tends to be, like, the quiet time on Etsy anyway, so it is, you know, not a terrible time to, you know, figure out your stuff and get yourself straight from there. Recovering from Christmas. That too! Yeah. 'Cause everybody has bought all the things and stuff at that point, so they're like, my wallet needs to recover. Although for this year, that's about when I got my sale. Because someone had bought a set of my chainmail stitch markers. Which I have a couple sets hanging out here, pre-made. For people to buy. But I think I'm not going to renew that listing at this point the way they are. Like, I'm going to, once it's, like, down, I'm likely going to redo them in other colors. It depends. Usually it depends on how they stand out, and also, you know, how many people see it. It's not a bad idea, given it's definitely something you don't have to have a ton of space for. Alright. It's stocking it this round, yeah. What? But yeah, it's not something that takes up a ton of space. Also, not you guys. My dad decided to stand in the doorway. He does that. Do. Alright. Indeed. Indeed. Ugh. Sometimes I'm just like, why?
Come on.
Mm-hmm.
You learn a little bit though. You're learning a little. What? You're learning a little.
Yeah. Let's see. How tall is this thing at the moment? Let me finish this round and see. I imagine about closer to 8 inches. Which I'm almost to the end of this round, so definitely will be able to do that.
Yeah,
Those are, thank you. These are both, Michael's in-house brand, so Loops and Threads. So this is, I believe, Dusty Rose or something. And this pink is lippy. Like, I think they're calling it, like, lippy, like, you know, like a lipstick color. At least I think that's what they were trying to lean to in the name of, you know, color name. Yeah, I feel like that's what they were trying to go for. Yeah. Because it's hard to come up with, color names for things sometimes, so I get it. But given, I do the art stuff along with this, it's like colors is kind of something I should know, so it's like whenever there's like a weird holy thank you for the raid. I guess I get to stay here longer. Cause I said I was gonna head off, but I appreciate you guys. Welcome everybody. Crochet! Kiana Gab. Jason Adventures. How are you guys doing? Welcome to the stream. Crochet, how was your stream? Let me measure this hat while I'm here. Alright, yeah, it's about 8 inches, so it might be closer to 9 once it's done, so that works. Yeah, I was like, I'm gonna leave. Apparently not. How are you? I'm doing a wee bit of overtime, so that's happening. Had a great time. Yay! I know you from Girl November's channel because I know you pop in there every so often. Welcome everybody. For anybody who doesn't know who I am, Serena Variety Caster of Way Too Many Things. I say that not jokingly because I have a lot of crafts I like to do. Right now I'm working on a hat because my mom wanted a hat. So that's a thing. Which I'm in the midst of decreasing here. But welcome, you guys. Hopefully you guys are having a great Friday so far. Oops. Yeah, because I attached new color. It would help if I tied that down. I know better. I'll have to weave it in the ends. But it's not a terrible issue. I just didn't feel like it. I didn't think I'd pull that hard to pull out the tail end of this, but... Oops. Come on. There it is. Alright, and then let's tie these two to avoid that coming up. I have a couple of these ends to weave in because I'm repurposing this yarn from other stuff because, I didn't feel like I needed to go to Michael's to buy more of this stuff. So that's a thing. Alright, also, this is the decrease area anyway. But yes, if you happen to enjoy chill vibes and or me working on various stuff, totally feel free to give a follow if you like, and potentially hang out here with us. But yes, basically I've run the gambit of things. I do knit at crochet. I was gonna work on the half granny square shawl that I have. It's hanging out, like, over there somewhere. But I was like, you know what? Let me work on this hat. Spinning, so I turned floof into yarn, so stuff like this. So, hand spun, which this is acrylic, actually. I spun acrylic. I have 3 more braids of it. So this is acrylic I have that's hanging on. I have to lurk for a view. No worries! Definitely lurk away. I know post-stream you have to work on some stuff and put away things. This is BFL, which this is going to be a future project. The camera has a weird time, but some of this is purple, some of this is blue. Face camera might be a little bit better at that, although it's getting dark over here because lack of daylight. But yeah, so spinning, weaving. Weaving is the thing I tend to do the least. There's some chainmail, which I was just discussing my stitch markers. One of the names I have attached here. And also do stuff like bracelets. Digital traditional art, which that's typically Wednesdays. And sometimes games. Typically for that it would be Stardew Valley, Words on Stream, things like that. So, yeah. Definitely many options. So I skipped the part where I was supposed to be. But what are you guys up to? I'm hoping I have enough of this to get through the rest of this decrease. Felix! Hello! Got surprise raid, so I'm here for a little bit longer than what I normally would be. Yeah, I typically end at about 4 p.m. Eastern. So that's a thing. But I'll be here tomorrow, so if anybody needs to wander off and go do other things, I appreciate you being here with the raid, and definitely have a good evening or whatever time zone you may be in. But how goes Felix? How goes things? Also, what is that? Oh, okay. Nothing pressing. Because I see something in the Discords. One of the various Discords I'm in, and like 60, so that's a thing. Woo! Congratulations on completing your classes for the year. Hope everything has gone well with that. Because I know that part is definitely a relief in regards to the end of the year. We're just like, although with us, it's like that's only the first half of the year. Then you come back and it's like late January towards the... Was it end of May or end of June? Probably end of May. Where it's like, we're back again! Woohoo! For the next semester. I don't miss college. Too stressful. Alright, and should be at the last one of these for this round. Alright, and then the next round's gonna be Stockinette. Hold on. So I think I'm gonna be on for like, given we're doing overtime, probably like another 12 minutes, and then we're gonna go, I guess we're gonna go raid somebody. Given you so graciously raided us. I'm trying not to stay on for too long. Because I have stuffs I need to do, shelves to continue cleaning also. Yeah, sorry about that. The end of January, but we don't have to go in to learn any stuff for the rest of the year. Huh. That's interesting. Because I'm so used to exams being at the end of the semester, like immediately, but I know some places they don't do it in that way. It's like semester learning, break, and then exams. So that's really interesting. But at least you have some time to yourself before that happens. How many classes were you taking this semester? Or arguably still are, given semester's technically not over. 7. Oh my... 7? What? Why? Ow. My soul? Couldn't. Like, the most I've ever taken a semester, that was like my first ever semester of college, I was like 5. And I was like, I will not be doing this again. Cool. Which, the bare minimum of courses you'd be able to take for full time was 4, so I did that. Because anything above that felt quite overwhelming. And even bare minimum full time is overwhelming. At least to me it was. So very much don't want to ever do that again. Ah. Sorry, I'm like kind of out of frame. My apologies. I usually try to be better at that. Although, let's see. I'm gonna double check once I finish this round to see who's potentially on, so I have an idea of who we could potentially go off to once I'm done, but that's not gonna be for about another 10 minutes, so we have some time. Alright, and almost there. Come on. Also, I don't think it's popped up today, but I do have a link tree of all of my stuff and things, so basically both of my Instagrams, which there's one for like yarn and stream related stuff, and then there's another one for art related things, which I post. Oh, speaking of, it just popped up. Like the bot read my mind. Thank you, bot. I guess, link tree of all my various things. So, Instagrams, Etsy page, Ko-fi, because I have a Ko-fi shop too, of various stuff and things, which you can find me under that same name. YouTube, which been busy, so I haven't gotten to do much of that lately. What else? Let's see. I have a website, but I haven't updated that in a little bit, but basically a general thing to go to all the various places. Saw what you said, Felix, so I will get to that in a moment. And a bunch of other things. So if you want to check out all of the social medias and stuff, totally feel free to click on that link below. Operations research, investment controlling, HR, logistics, and microeconomics, plus one else. Which I have to... Oh! That sucks. But dear God, that is a lot. Is this your last semester, or did you just decide, you know what, since, you know, you have the recent memory of said course, it'd probably be better to take it now rather than wait till later? Because that seems like a lot of things to go on at one time. I don't know how you would be managing to juggle all of that. Definitely good job. Also, anybody new here, just be forewarned, next week I am planning to do a couple of charity streams for... Third semester, I need to retake the class at least two some... Okay. Okay. So... What was I saying? Yes, so basically, next week I'm planning to do a couple of charity streams. Basically, I'll be playing a variety of games during the week. So, no crafting and other such stuff. In order to raise some funds for Project Linus, in order to help the small humans stay warm during the winter. Because they give blankets to kids, because the website says, you know, from like small size to 18, so very small humans to size 18. Age 18. Wow, size 18. I can word. This is what happens when I'm on longer than 3 hours. Words start to fail me. But yes, so basically, if you can't give funds, you can also make the blankets, so knit or crochet, or I believe quilts as well. So basically, with monetary funds, they can basically buy stuff for making said blankets. So batting for quilts, knitting needles, or whatever the case may have you for whatever methods they're planning to make the blankets. So it would definitely be a very much a thing to help them out. So I figured we can raise some funds, have some fun, and hopefully it will go over well. Alright, I have to say... Okay, so basically you're deciding your major. I presume that's basically our equivalent of specializing. Don't know if I should go into finance or logistics. Both of those sound like a lot of math. Math is not my strong suit. But whatever you do, hopefully it works out for you. One more of these. Business and... Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Very much a lot of sense, then. Yeah. No worries. Thank you for stopping in. Hopefully you have a good rest of your evening. Thank you for popping by, and I very much appreciate the raid. Anybody who is here and is not following Crochet70, definitely feel free to go and follow her. As the name implies, she does a lot of crochet and is very fun to hang out with. I think I have lurked in her streams once or twice. So, let's see. Let's make sure I actually put the exclamation part so that actually happens. There we go. But I very much appreciate you, and hopefully, if you can't pop in here again tomorrow or so... Unintended! Unintended. It just happens. When I just talk, it's like stream of consciousness sometimes, especially when I'm streaming. It's like, oh, I said this thing. Okay, cool. Oh yes, definitely feel free to check her out, and feel free to give a follow as well, because follows are free and very much help out. Also, to know about the charity streams, it's gonna be... The funds I am taking, it's gonna be in tips only. Just to make sure things don't get a little wonky. Because, you know, when it comes to, like, bits and subs, that's basically... Depends on if I reach the threshold, if I immediately get the money. So it's basically gonna be whatever I get in tips only. If you give bits or subs, it's gonna support the channel. No problem. And the least I can do for you bringing your friends over here. Also, it is dark. I mean, it's almost 4:30, so of course it's dark. Alright, so I'm gonna do this last stockinette round and then check out to see who we can go hang out with. There should be at least a couple of fiber artists around, I'm pretty certain, especially on a Friday. So, given we have a good bunch of people, I imagine we can go have a raid. And sends forward some hype. Because usually whenever I get raided, I try to, you know, send a raid forward in appreciation. Except, you know, like, say if, like, I really don't feel like doing the thing. But that's pretty rarely. Oops, come on. Do. Alright. Do I still? Yeah, I should still have some bit of... Hopefully I have enough. We will see. If not, I'll have to look to see if I have any scraps elsewhere. If I'm lucky. But I have a feeling it might be close and I might end up playing a game of Yarn Chicken because... Of course. Of course. But we'll be fine either way. That or I could start decreasing earlier, but then it'll involve me having to frog a bit, but given it's stockinette, should be fine. Also, it's a bit dark, so you kind of can't see my face at this point. But I appreciate you guys hanging out with me today. It's definitely been a fun time. And I've gotten a lot more work done on this hat than I thought I would. I thought I was going to switch over to the granny square shawl, but I did not. So, that's the thing. I can potentially do that tomorrow, but tomorrow I might end up doing some spinning. Gamer! Hi! How you doing? I'm actually... You're fine. You are fine. I have like a limit for like how many caps you can put in there, but you're nowhere near the limit, so you're cool. How goes? How are you? And hopefully Friday's treating you well. I got rated in the past half hour by Crochet70. So, been spending a bit more time than what I normally would be over here. But I hope things are going well. I'm working on this hat in the midst of decreasing, so should be done soonish enough. We'll see. If not today, probably tomorrow off stream. Plus, I have some stuff to ship out, so I need to finish packaging some things. So, that's a thing. But I hope things are going well. Let's see. Thank you whoever favorited my shop. I very much appreciate you. That was very kind of you. Alright, also let's move that so I don't have the blue thing right there on screen. That's probably annoying. Yay! Yeah, I've been in the mood to knit hats because, you know, it gets cold, so hat time. Alright, let's see. Oh, Torno Soul is on. She's doing the crafty things. Punk Pixie is also on. Although I don't... Will she be on terribly much longer? I'm not sure. There's Suspicious Tumble. Yeah, we have definitely a good chunk of people here. Oh wait, Jiniata's also on. I've been meaning to pop into her stream. She does knit and crochet things. It's been a while since I've been able to catch her, so I think it's definitely a good idea to send everybody over that way. So, let's see. I'm gonna get this raid started. I'm gonna mute this tab to make sure Twitch doesn't scream at me with an ad, because I don't need those in my life. But right now she's working on a dragon scale scarf, so definitely looks like it's gonna be a fun time. And I'm gonna lift this up and then blind myself so you can actually kind of see my face. Wait, you gonna be raiding? Mm-hmm. I'm indeed gonna be raiding. I know it's not a thing I do often, but you know, when I get raided, I like to send the raid forwards. If you're ending, yeah, I'm about to end, Felix. Thank you for stopping by. Very much appreciate you, and hopefully see you again soon. And have a good rest of your evening. But yes, Crochet70, thank you again very much for the raid. And Multisync, if you're still here, thank you again for that follow. And let me make sure I'm not missing anybody by checking the bot, but we should be good. No, I did not miss anybody. Cool. But yes, anybody who wants to come along with this raid, totally feel free to use one of these raid calls. I am now about to be throwing in chat. There is one for subs. I believe, yeah, that's the non-sub one, and then the second one is gonna be for anyone who's subbed to the channel currently. There we go. So, let me see. Also, oh, okay, she's on, wow, of course, she's on break, but it's fine. She'll be surprised by the thing.